Pūjyāya Rāghavendrāya Satya Dharma Rataya cha Bhajatam Kalpavṛkṣaya Namatam Kamadhenave. These are not just words of a verse, this is the very heartbeat of devotion for millions who revere Sri Rāghavendra Tīrtha, lovingly called Rayaru. In this podcast titled Pūjyāya Rāghavendrāya, we embark on a sacred journey, not just to recount the life of a saint, but to connect with the very Jeeva Samādhi that has been answering prayers for over 350 years. Who was this radiant soul? Born as Venkatanātha, a brilliant scholar and householder who later took sannyasa to become the revered Sri Rāghavendra Tīrtha, the 16th pontiff of Madhva lineage under the tradition of Sri Madhvacharya. He wasn't just a sage sitting in Vrindavana, he was a compassionate guide, a philosopher of the highest truths, a composer of profound works, and a miracle worker whose spiritual presence is still active. Yes, even today. Mantralaya, a dusty village on the banks of Tungabhadra, transformed into a spiritual powerhouse because of one soul. A soul who declared before entering his Jeeva Samādhi in 1671, Naham Muktah Praveshyami, I shall not enter liberation yet, I will remain here for 700 years to uplift those who seek Jnana and Bhakti. And so for the generation after generation, he lives on and fulfilling the desires like Kamadhenu, protecting his devotees like Kalpavṛkṣa and spreading the light of Dvaita Vedanta. So join us over the next few sections as we explore the life, miracles, works and eternal presence of this divine being. This is not a story of the past. This is a story of a living legend, Rayaru. Our journey now takes us back to the late 16th century to a quiet town called Bhuvanagiri in present-day Tamil Nadu. It is here that Venkatanātha was born around 1595 CE into a family of profound Vedic knowledge and devotion. From a very young age, he was known for his brilliance in logic, grammar, music, and most importantly, dharma. But little did the world know, then this child was destined to become a Kalpavṛkṣa for the troubled souls of Kali Yuga. Under the guidance of his uncle Lakshmi Narayana Acharya, young Venkatanātha studied at Kumbakonam. He absorbed grammar, Nyaya, Mimamsa and above all Madhva Siddhanta. Even as a child, he amazed scholars with his sharp mind and deep devotion. Venkatanātha married Saraswati Bai and lived a modest life as a teacher. He composed devotional verses and taught scriptures without expecting payment, often going hungry but never compromising dharma. It is said that goddess Saraswati herself spoke through him when he debated or taught. After divine science and inner calling, he took sannyasa in 1621 CE at Tanjore under Sri Sudhindra Tīrtha, adopting the name Raghavendra Tīrtha. His transformation was complete. He was no longer just a scholar but a spiritual powerhouse. He became the pontiff of Sri Math at Kumbakonam soon after. For 50 years, Rayaru spread Madhva philosophy across South India, defeating rival schools in debates, blessing kings, healing the diseased, and composing commentaries and stotras. He was known as the Sudha Parimala Acharya for his mastery of Jayatirtha's Nyaya Sudha and beyond. In 1671 CE, On Shravana Krishna Paksha Dvitiya, Rayaru entered Jeeva Samādhi at Mantralaya, alive and conscious, promising Nirantara Jivan Mukti. Even in Vrindavana, I shall continue to protect my devotees. He lived for approximately 76 years and is believed to remain spiritually active for 700 years till 2371 CE. A quick recap of the timelines: 1595 CE, birth at Bhuvanagiri; 1610 CE, marriage and teaching; 1621 CE, sannyasa and takes the name Raghavendra Tīrtha; 1621 to 1671, pontificate, travels, writings, miracles, and 1671 CE, enters Jeeva Samādhi at Mantralaya. Sri Rāghavendra Swami was no ordinary saint. He was the living bridge between the devotee and the divine. Through each stage of his life, from student to saint, miracles flowed effortlessly as natural expressions of his boundless compassion and yogic powers. Let's see few of them. Even as a young boy in Bhuvanagiri, Venkatanātha once completed his teacher's incomplete verse with such poetic mastery that scholars around him bowed in awe. It was said that goddess Saraswati herself had taken shelter on his tongue. Living in poverty, he never charged for teaching. Once, when his wife asked how they would survive, he calmly said, "The Lord will provide." One day, as he performed a yajna with no offerings, the fire blazed as if led by ghee. When questioned, it was found that the gods themselves were accepting his sincerity, not physical offerings. Even empty hands filled with bhakti were enough for him. After becoming Raghavendra Tīrtha, his miracles multiplied. The revival of a dead boy. In Kumbhakonam, a grieving mother brought her lifeless child to him with just a sprinkle of Tīrtha and the words Hari Sarvottama. The child opened his eyes. The crowd gasped, the mother wept, and Rayaru simply smiled. Prophecy to Nawab of Adoni. The Muslim Nawab of Adoni, Siddhi Musad Khan, once tested Rayaru, offering the cut pieces of meat covered by the cloth. Rayaru blessed them anyway. When opened the covering cloth, the Nawab found all the meat turned into fresh fruits. Struck with awe, he offered the land of Mantralaya to Rayaru. That's how Mantralaya became his chosen Vrindavana. Even after entering the Jeeva Samādhi in 1671, miracles continued. Devotees hear his voice guiding them in dreams. Court cases have been won, illnesses cured, and debts cleared after praying at his Vrindavana. Even today, thousands gather at Mantralaya for his Arādhana, seeking blessings for health, education, children, and peace. These are not just stories. They are the testimonies of timeless grace. Rayaru is not a figure of history, he is a living presence. He responds to faith with solutions, to tears with strength, and to surrender with protection. Let us explore the treasure of wisdom he left behind, his granthas and compositions that continue to illuminate the Madhava path of Vedanta. Sri Rāghavendra Swami's granthas grouped by category. First amongst are the Veda Vivrittis, Vedic exposition. There is Rigveda Vivritti, Yajurveda Vivritti, Samaveda Vivritti. Then is the second section, Sukta Vyakhyanas, interpretation of the key hymns. Purusha Sukta, Ambrini Sukta, Hiranyagarbha Sukta, Gharma Sukta, Samudra Sukta Vyakhyana. Third is Upanishad Kandhartha or Artha Sangraha for Dasha Upanishads. Ishavasya, Kenopanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Manduka, Mandukya, Taittiriya, Aitareya, Chandogya and Brihadaranya Upanishad. Each comes with Artha Sangraha, the meaning collections, Padartha Sangraha, the word meanings, or Khandartha, the section-wise meanings. The fourth section is the Anuvyakhyana Tika, the magnus opus of Nyaya Sudha Parimala. This is the commentary on Jayatirtha's Sriman Nyaya Sudha, earned Rayaru the revered title Parimala Acharya. The fifth, the Vyasatraya Tika's interpretation of the three Vyasas works, Tarka Tandava Vyakhyana on Vyasatirtha's logic work. Vadavali Vyakhyana, Chandrika Prakasha is another work, a deep dive into the Tattva Prakashika Chandrika. Sixth, the Vedanta, Nyaya and Gita works. Gitartha Sangraha, Vivritti on Bhagavad Gita, Gita Bhashya Prameya Deepika Vyakhyana on again Bhagavad Gita, Gita Tatparya Tika Vivarana is another work, Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Tattva Prakashika Bhavadeepa, Tantra Deepika, Tattva Manjari, Mantrartha Manjari, Nyaya Muktavali, Pramana Paddhati Vyakhya, Bhatta Sangraha, Prameya Sangraha. Then there are narratives, devotional and miscellaneous works. Sri Ramacharitra Manjari, the entire story of Ramayana told in few verses. Sri Krishna Charitra Manjari, the life story of Lord Krishna told in few verses. Sriman Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya Bhava Sangraha. It is written as a summary in 32 verses based on the magnus opus by Sriman Madhvacharya, that is Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, that is having 32 chapters. It is condensed into just 32 shlokas by Sri Rayaru. His capability is immense in either expanding a smallest verse into a multiple pages book or multiple verses into a 2 to 3 verses for the benefit of people like us who cannot understand the deeper meanings. Then there are Anu Madhva Vijaya Vyakhyana, Dasha Prakarana Tika Vyakhyanas, Pratah Sankalpa Gadya, Sarva Samarpana Gadya. Totally 48 granthas. What is more important to all of us in day-to-day life? Let's look at that in our next section. Imagine beginning your day with divine remembrance and ending your day by surrendering it all. Your joys, your mistakes, your efforts to the feet of the Supreme. That's exactly what Sri Rāghavendra Swami has given us through two rare and priceless compositions. Pratah Sankalpa Gadyam, the morning resolve, Sarva Samarpana Gadyam, the nightly surrender. These are not just prayers, they are your soul's daily anchors. And today, more than ever, we need them. Pratah Sankalpa Gadyam, the morning resolve. This divine prose begins by saluting Mukhya Prana, Sri Vayudevaru, who manifests as Hanuman in Treta Yuga, Bhimasena in Dwapara Yuga, Madhvacharya in Kali Yuga. Rayaru reminds us that Vayudevaru is the life force behind every breath, thought and movement. But even he doesn't act independently. He is the servant of Supreme Lord Vishnu who operates the entire universe through Mukhya Prana. The first part of this Gadyam, about 60% of it is dedicated to Vayudevaru. How Vayudeva obeys every command of Lord Hari. How he sees Vishnu and Lakshmi in all beings in every breath. How Mukhya Prana ensures the laws of karma, dharma and divine grace operate seamlessly. Then comes the remaining 40% describing Bhagavan Vishnu in his four divine forms. Aniruddha for sustenance, Pradyumna for creation, Sankarshana for destruction, and Vasudeva, the final form who grants moksha to the deserving soul. Rayaru reminds us that our real journey is to shed the three covering: Stula Sharira, the gross body, Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, Linga Deha, the causal body. Only when these dissolve can the soul realize the Antaryami, the indwelling God within. Each morning, as we step into the worldly action, this Gadyam reminds us, I am not the doer. Vayudeva or Mukhya Prana acts within me. May I stay connected to him and to Sri Hari who powers all of existence. Even listening to this Gadyam for 12 minutes during a morning walk purifies our mind. You don't have to understand every word, just listen, just receive. Sarva Samarpana Gadyam, the nightly surrender. As the day ends, we return to the Lord again, not just with folded hands, but with everything we did. Rayaru shows us that every action of our senses, hearing, seeing, speaking, even thinking, is guided either by Devatas or Daityas, the Asuras, all governed by Mukhya Prana as the controller and ultimately by Sri Hari. This Gadyam is a complete offering. O Lord, all punya I have earned today, let it go to the Devatas. All the papas, let it go to the Daityas. I surrender everything to you. This resets the soul, it lightens your heart, it makes sleep an act of surrender. And the beauty? This Gadyam takes less than 5 minutes to hear, and it should ideally be the last sound you hear before sleep, even after lights are off. Why did Rayaru compose these? Because he knew how distracted, confused and restless we would be in Kali Yuga. He didn't give us long Vedic rituals. He gave us 2 short prose prayers to hold our mind in the morning and empty our ego at night. And this is the greatest blessing for our lives. Start this habit today. Let these 2 Gadyas become your soul's daily rhythm. Morning remembrance, night offering. And in between, the divine hand of Rayaru guiding your every step. Pūjyāya Rāghavendrāya Namaha. Every year, the banks of Tungabhadra in Mantralaya echo with a powerful presence. Not just remembrance, but a living connection. This is Raghavendra Aradhana Mahotsava, a spiritual festival unlike any other, making the exact day when Sri Rāghavendra Swami entered his Vrindavana alive in deep meditation in the year 1671 CE. Naham Muktha Praveshyami. He declared, I will not enter liberation, I'll stay in Vrindavana for 700 years to guide my devotees. This divine promise is the soul of Arādhana. When is it held? Arādhana is observed every year during Shravana Masa on Krishna Paksha Dvitiya Tithi, the second day of the waning moon, which marks the day of his Jeeva Samādhi in 2025. It is the 354th Arādhana. August 10th is the Purvaradhane, first day homage. August 11th is Madhyaradhane, the day that he entered alive in the Vrindavana. August 12th, Uttara Arādhana, that is concluding homage. And August 13th and 14th, Sapta Ratrotsava and Mahaprasada. The rituals and celebrations. This Panchamrita Abhisheka of the Vrindavana, followed by Tulsi Archana and Dhanvantari Homa, Mangalarati with Rayaru Ashtottara. Rathotsava, a grand procession of Rayaru's Utsava Murti on chariots. Arādhana Mahotsava, serving thousands. Cultural programs, Vedic chanting, Harikatha, Bhajan, classical music and dance. The atmosphere becomes charged of divine joy. Even those who cannot visit Mantralaya perform Rayara Puja at home, chanting the sacred Pūjyāya Rāghavendrāya Satya Dharma Rataya Cha Bhajatam Kalpavṛkṣaya Namatam Kamadhenave. Why it matters even today? Rayaru's Arādhana is not just a festival, it's a spiritual portal. It is said that whatever you ask during this time with Shraddha and Bhakti is granted swiftly, especially for health and healing, marriage and children, education and exams, protection from danger, peace in family and finances. This 354th year is not the past. It is part of the 700-year living woe of Rayaru. When you fold your hands and remember him, whether in Mantralaya or your home, he is listening. In the final section, let us understand what makes Rayaru unique in the spiritual history of Bharata and why millions still feel his divine touch every day. Can a saint continue to live after he has entered Samadhi? Can prayers whispered in 2025 reach a sage who entered Vrindavana in 1671? With most saints, this would be symbolic. But with Sri Rāghavendra Tīrtha, it is literally true. For he never left. I will reside here in Mantralaya for 700 years, blessing those who surrender to me. This vow was not poetry, it was a sankalpa made in the highest yogic consciousness, and to this day it remains active. What makes Rayaru unique? Rayaru is one of very few saints in the entire world who chose Jeeva Samādhi, entering a meditative trance without death to remain spiritually present on earth. Across centuries, devotees have reported dreams in which Rayaru gave mantras or life-saving guidance, miraculous healing after praying at Mantralaya, legal disputes being resolved, careers being revived, lives being protected. Many of these are documented even by non-Hindus, atheists and skeptics. Such is the aura of Rayaru's unconditional grace. Rayaru's presence is not confined to Mantralaya. Across the world, from Fremont to Fiji, from London to Mysore, Raghavendra Brindavanas, Mandiras and Bhajan Sabhas keep his flame alive. Children grow up chanting Pūjyāya Rāghavendrāya. Singers perform Rayaru songs in Carnatic concerts. Scholars quote his logic in Vedantic debates. Householders keep his photo in the puja room for blessings, comfort and faith. He is a guru who speaks all languages, who sees all hearts, who answers the smallest of the cries. Raghavendra, a guru for the Kali Yuga. Why does Rayaru still matter? Because in this Kali Yuga, when anxiety, distractions and materialism cloud our minds, we need a living spiritual support. Rayaru does not demand rituals. He responds to simple bhakti, pure faith and inner transformation. He doesn't ask you to renounce the world, but shows you how to live with dharma inside it. He leads you to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, not by force, but with gentle, loving guidance. As we close this podcast series, remember, Rayaru is not just someone you pray to, he is someone you can talk to. He is not a figure of the past, he is a presence in your now. So whenever you feel lost, weak or anxious, just close your eyes and say, Raghavendra Rakshamam. O Rayaru, protect me, and trust that he will. This is the legacy Raghavendra Swami, the compassionate saint of Mantralaya, the tireless upholder of Madhva Vedanta, the bridge to Vishnu and the eternal Kalpavṛkṣa of the devotee's heart, Pūjyāya Rāghavendrāya. Om Sri Rāghavendraya Namaha. Harihi Om.